If you've got an old Dogecoin miner just sitting around gathering dust, you might actually want to consider turning it back on again, because a lot of these old miners are actually starting to become significantly profitable again, and they're also quite a lot more profitable than it might seem when you look them up on profitability calculators. So in this video, we're gonna go through a bunch of old Dogecoin miners. We're gonna look at how profitable they actually are right now, and also at what electricity prices they start to break even, because I think you're gonna be quite surprised at just how high your power rate can be with these Dogecoin miners still breaking even right now. So that is what's coming up in this video after this quick word from our sponsor. Coin Mining Central is an online store for ASIC miners, and there's no doubt that right now ASIC mining profitability has just been going up like crazy in these past few months. And the miners that I'm personally most interested in right now are probably the Iceriver AL2 Lite Homa Lithium miner and the Jasminer X16Q, which I still think is probably the best ASIC miner available for at-home miners like myself. Coin Mining Central are also continuously providing me with exclusive discount codes for you guys, like the code 𝗬𝗑, which gives you $125 off on every miner in your order. I am also very excited to tell you that Coin Mining Central have recently launched a loyalty program that lets you earn points in loads of different ways, like signing up for their newsletter or following them on social media. You also earn points on every order you make with them, and these loyalty points can then be redeemed for massive discounts on your next purchase. Now, on top of this, with Coin Mining Central, worldwide express shipping is always free, and there are never any added payment fees during checkout or anything like that. The listed price is always the total cost you'll pay for the miners. And I did a lot of research before I decided to partner up with Coin Mining Central, and there were two clear things that stood out to me about them. The first one being that, as opposed to most other ASIC vendors that are based overseas, Coin Mining Central is registered and run out of England, Europe, which means they have to adhere to the very strict regulations for customer support and personal detail protection that we have over here. And of course, all brand new miners also come with a full manufacturer warranty. The second thing is their pretty much spotless track record of delivering miners to happy customers like you guys for well over 5 years at this point. So please go check them out today. I'll have the discount codes and link for you down in the video description. Alright, I know it's been a little bit since my last video on the channel here, but just know I've been very busy and I am properly back now, so you can definitely expect more videos more often going forward, so subscribe, I guess. Alright, let's jump into some Dogecoin mining, shall we? And I want to bring up this Gold Shell Mini Doge Pro here on ASIC Miner Value, because this is what I mean with, you know, that the kind of profitability calculators for these things can be very misleading and underreport the profitability for these things. So as you can see here, I've put it at a electricity price of 15 cents per kilowatt hour. And at that price, according to this website, this thing is just not profitable, right? Like you're losing, quote unquote, losing 24 cents a day mining with this thing. And I also want to bring up a miner that I actually have, which is this Gold Shell Mini Doge version 3. And as you can see here, it's said to be making about $1.74 before electric, and then after 15 cents per kilowatt hour electricity price, profit is about 30 cents per day. Now, the reason why I'm showing specifically this one is because I literally have one running right next to me right now. I got mine running right there on Mining Dutch. And this is kind of my earnings. So this is for just my little Mini Doge 3. As you can see here, the average hash rate is just around 700 mega hash. And if we come back to my earnings here, just give the site a second or two to load, you can see that this green line here is my daily revenue. And I mean, this is like all of November pretty much. And even so, like if we look at right now, ASIC Miner Value says my income should be about $1.74, but my income as like yesterday was $3.34. So it is basically twice what ASIC Miner Value is saying. So what I thought is I'm gonna see just exactly what my sort of income per mega hash is with my Mini Doge 3 here, and we're gonna apply that, you know, real profitability number to a bunch of these old Mini Doge miners and other Dogecoin miners from the past to see just how profitable they are. And then we're gonna sort of extrapolate that against what is the highest electricity price where you're still not unprofitable with those miners, meaning any electricity price below that, you're actually making money with these things right now. But before we get into that, I just want to quickly give a shout out to the Tangem hardware wallet, because they have a promo code, which is just code 𝗬𝗑, which will give you 10% off any of their hardware wallet kits. Essentially, you get a 3-card set, a 2-card set, the Tangem ring plus 2 cards, any of these different colorways that you can see here. It supports Dogecoin. It is my favorite hardware wallet by far. It supports all kinds of different coins. And I know I've mentioned this before, but to me, Tangem really strikes the perfect balance between supporting coins that us miners actually use, and then also security, obviously, which is very important with hardware wallets like these, and ease of use, because these things are a breeze to use as opposed to other hardware wallets where you have to enter stuff on a little screen and it's a whole hassle. With Tangem, basically the way it works is your seed phrases are kept physically offline on these cards, and you need at least 2 of the cards to set the wallet up in the first place using your phone. And then anytime you need to do a transaction or anything like that, you need at least 1 of the cards, which means even if you lose 1 of the cards and somebody finds it, they can't steal your funds because they would need actually 2 of the cards to set it up on their device. So very good security on that end. So yeah, link to that and the discount code will be down in the video description. If you are looking for a hardware wallet, the Tangem one is definitely the one that I personally would recommend. But moving on, let's look at some old Dogecoin miners, shall we? So I've put a bunch of them down in the little spreadsheet that I've got here. And I've also imported my personal daily revenue per mega hash here. So you can see essentially what I've done is my mini Doge 3 gets around 700 mega hash. If we look at the statistics here, it's kind of sitting roughly at an average of, you know, between 650 and 750 or so on the average in terms of hash rate there. And then we're just looking at my daily earnings here, which is, you know, 334, 358. Yeah, you know, so for the spreadsheet, I put it as 339, kind of on the lower end there, and just divided it by 700 to get the daily revenue per mega hash. So then let's just look at some of these old miners, and I thought let's start with this old Gold Shell Mini Doge Pro, which according to the ASIC Miner Value website here has a daily income of 55 cents. So let's see where that actually is at, shall we? So we got the Mini Doge Pro here, and let's just reveal these little cells here. There you go. Actual revenue per day is more like 99 cents per day right now, meaning it's actually profitable at a power rate of under 19 cents per kilowatt hour. So that is very different from the, you know, negative 24 cents per day as claimed by ASIC Miner Value here at 15 cents per kilowatt hour. It actually makes quite a lot more than that. So instead of me just going through all of these one by one, let me just reveal all of them at the same time here, and you can have a little look. And I want to talk just a little bit about some of the real standouts here. One being the Gold Shell LT Lite, which is obviously a bigger form factor ASIC miner from, you know, quite a few years ago at this point. But because it has both a hash rate and a low power mode, you can see that this thing is actually profitable even at, you know, electricity prices as high as 28 cents per kilowatt hour right now. That kind of blew me away. And the Gold Shell Mini Doge 2 is not far behind at 26 cents per kilowatt hour there. So as you can see, even if you've got kind of high electricity prices, many of these miners are still breaking even, or even could be quite significantly profitable. We can even see the old Bitmain Antminer L3 Plus here, with its 500 mega hash at 800 watts, is still profitable under 13 cents per kilowatt hour there. Quite amazing at this point. But yeah, the point of this video is definitely not to say to go out and buy any of these old miners, because not only are there much better options available at this point that are both gonna give you much better value for money in terms of hash rate per dollar you spend on them, but also that's gonna have much better mining efficiency and offer much more hash rate per watt of power that you're giving them. And add to that the fact that I've even noticed that many of these older generation miners now are starting to be scalped on eBay again, because people are noticing that they're actually starting to be profitable again, and they are just jacking up the prices essentially. So I don't think buying these is gonna be a good deal. But yeah, the point of this video, it's more so just to say that, hey, if you happen to already own any of these old miners, you might actually want to turn them back on again, because they probably are profitable again for you. However, with that said, I know we're kind of in the part of the cycle now where people start coming in and want to get started in mining and want to buy new stuff. So for those of you who are determined that you do want to buy some ASIC miners for Dogecoin mining now, let's just look at what's currently available and what's actually a better deal than these old miners. I think you'd get a much better deal going for any of these newer generation miners. So what I did was I added those into the spreadsheet as well, just so that we can get some perspective on kind of, you know, comparing the older generation ones to the newer ones here. And granted, some of these, like I added the L7 here, which is already 1 generation old, but of course it's not as old as, you know, the L3, for example, which is a few generations old at this point. But let's just reveal all of these numbers here. And as you can see, the difference is quite astounding there, where, you know, we were talking about 28 cents per kilowatt hour for the LT Lite, but if we're looking at something like the L9 here, you can see it's profitable at almost $1 per kilowatt hour right now. So very, very, you know, big difference there in terms of just profitability essentially per kilowatt hour. And also you can see the, you know, actual revenue numbers here. Even something, you know, comparing like the LT6, which is doing pretty good, but that is also one of those like 3,000 plus watt miners. It takes home $16 versus $77 per day for essentially the same amount of power usage there. So just keep that in mind. There are some options here. Obviously the L7, the L9, they're big boy ASICs that use a lot of electricity, generate a lot of noise and put out a lot of heat. But there are other decent options too. For current gen, you know, more lower end, kind of aimed at home miners, like, you know, the Mini Doge 3, which is the one I've got running right next to me here, or the 𝗤𝗡𝗥 DG Home 1. I want to talk a little bit. There's also the Flu miner that I want to get into a little bit, but let's just look at these different sort of newer alternatives here, because you got something like the Mini Doge 3 here. It obviously offers not as good a deal as something like the L9 when we're talking just cost per mega hash or power efficiency. But, you know, not everyone has 15 grand to blow on a Dogecoin miner. So if you're interested in just getting into it, then, you know, maybe a smaller point of entry like a $600-700 gold shell miner could be an option at this point, since they are actually profitable. You know, as you can see, mine is making, you know, over $3 a day here while only using about $1.50 in power each day, and that's at 15 cents per kilowatt hour. You can also, of course, take the step up there to the 𝗤𝗡𝗥 DG Home 1, which is also a, you know, silent Dogecoin miner that doesn't use that much power, 630 watts. Now, I do want to kind of address the elephant in the room a little bit, because there is a new miner that's been kind of talked about, which is this Flu miner L1. Terrible name, but it is what it is, which is supposedly going to blow the DG Home 1 out of the water, essentially, offering 5.3 gigahash of hash rate at 1200 watts. So, you know, significantly more than the DG Home 1, but at about twice the power usage, of course. Now, why am I not linking to this in the description or whatever? Because I've never heard of this brand before. No one has this in their hand right now, so I can't vouch for this thing even existing, really. So until we get some concrete evidence that this is actually a real miner that is legit, I'm not gonna link to it or anything. But if you want to hold off for a bit, then, you know, just be aware that this is a miner that might be coming out soon. If not, and you want to play it safe, then of course the 𝗬𝗚𝗥 DigiHome 1 is available right now. And then you also have the L7, which is much more powerful, but older generation one, and the L9. And the reason I bring these up, I'll link them down in the video description. I did get a specific discount code from Coin Mining Central, which is the ASIC reseller that I recommend. If you use the code 𝗬𝗏𝐷OGE on any of these bigger ones, you can actually get almost $200 off the price right now. So little deal for those of you who stuck around to the end of the video. And for the smaller ones, you can try the code, just the regular code 𝗬, and that should give you around $130 off the price. But of course, only time can tell if getting any of these miners right now is actually going to be a good investment. You know, I don't have a crystal ball and I can't tell the future. All I can do is kind of like show you what's available, how they stack up against each other on a just specs-wise comparison, and then you have to make your own decision and come to your own conclusion based on that, and also your own research, right? Link to these miners and the discount codes will be down in the video description. And over here, I'll put my video on how you can actually solo mine Dogecoin on low-end miners like those mini Doge ones. Check that out if you're feeling lucky. All right, I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.